Right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video we're going to be talking about comments made by Tim Bradley, who says some things about Errol Spence Jr. He said some things about Jaron Ennis in discussions about fighting Terence Crawford that are interesting to say the least. Not because he does not know his boxing. He most certainly does know his boxing very, very well, nor would I ever question what he thinks about what is going on in a boxing ring, because I'm not qualified to do so. However, from a political standpoint, let's say, and a competitive standpoint, and a realistic standpoint, he is nothing but wrong. And let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're gonna be talking about three of the best welterweights in the world at the 147-pound division. Also, by the way, I'm going to inform a couple of you people out there who have something to say about the fights and the people that I decide to talk about on my own channel. But before I get into that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified if we release, if and when we release more videos. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. You can hit the thumbs down, man. That ain't gonna hurt me. And I appreciate it, because I noticed on one video, after asking people that don't like it to hit the thumbs down button, you did. So thank you very much for participating in the channel. And also to all you supporters and the people that are really making it fun to talk boxing and fun to for me to let you know what I think about the sport. Thank you very, very much. Can't do without you. And thank you to everybody that sponsors this channel through the super thanks. It really means a lot. So let's get into this, okay? Now, how can I say this? Man, people can take completely correct facts. Just assume that they are facts. You know, Tim Bradley, who is an ESPN commentator and a Hall of Fame fighter and a excellent analyst that most definitely knows his boxing backwards and forwards, said some things that very well may be dead true and came up with a ridiculous conclusion. Let me explain. I'm going to tell you what Tim Bradley said. And now Tim Bradley, I think, could be very right about it. And it is this: two subjects. One includes Errol Spence, and the other one includes Jaron Ennis. Tim Bradley says, don't take the rematch with Errol Spence Jr. Don't take the rematch with Errol Spence Jr., right? Don't do it. Second, he tells Jaron Ennis, don't try to fight Terence Crawford next. Now, why would Errol Spence Jr. not fight him? No need to go into it. That is obvious why you would say that. Because he just got the brakes beaten off of him by Terence Crawford in the last fight. So if you get back in the ring right away with Terence will beat the brakes off of you again, and it may be worse. True statement. 100% true statement. Wouldn't argue with that at all. He definitely got the brakes beaten off of him. All the memes you guys want to show and all of that, very much so. I don't think anybody would lie that it's not. True statement. Second, Jaron Ennis could get beat and knocked out by Terence Crawford, because Jaron Ennis has not fought and this type of guy, that type of guy, right? All of those things, right? And he may get in there and get knocked out against Terence Crawford. Is that a true statement? Yes, it is. It is 100% true. That absolutely could happen to him. Now, you may say, Fanon, why do you say that he just said a bunch of things that are true and drew a conclusion that's ridiculous? Let me explain. Number one, let's take Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. just made over $25 million fighting Terence Crawford. Yeah, he did. If they did 675,000 pay-per-views, they did a $21 million gate. He will have pulled in somewhere in the range of $25 million. Let's just say they do a rematch and he makes half of that. That is another roughly 12 and a half, $13 million. Tim, there are coal miners that go down into shafts where they very well may have a ton of earth drop on their head or have toxic gases kill them dead where they sit. And they do that for less than $50,000 a year. They go in and do that for less than $500. Any particular time that they do it. Way less than $500. So let me understand this. You want Errol Spence to the $13 million that he can make. You want him to do what? Not move up in weight, see if he can feel better, and take a chance of getting beat up again? Well, let me tell you. There are only a select number of people on this planet that even have that option. And way fewer that ain't gonna take it. So, I don't understand the necessity of getting out there in the media and telling somebody not to do something that they know full well is very, very dangerous, and so does everybody else, because you know what it is. It's boxing. And there are people like Pritchard Colon and other people that went into a fair fight and wound up like that. Brain bleeds, all of that. I think that's called being part of the job. Now, if he says, well, I just got $25 million, let me watch all my stuff, this other 12 ain't worth it, he may very well do that. However, you know how that goes. It's that man's choice. But not a ridiculous conclusion from Tim Bradley. Not a ridiculous one, right? Because again, there's real risk of getting beat up. But there's also a significant chance that he'll go in there, get his money. And if he is getting beat up, throw in the towel. Retire, thank you, give him my $13 million. And you know what's gonna happen? His son and his two daughters, if he handles his money right, will forever and ever and ever for all of their life be taken care of, which is a risk most fathers will take in a second. So I would suggest you jump your ass up off that soapbox for a second and understand that that's an opportunity that he has, because it's prize fighting. You fight for the prize. And he just got a $25 million prize, just like Terence Crawford did, which, by the way, the same thing can happen to Terence Crawford with one punch, because that's how boxing is. Deontay Wilder is somebody that literally can kill you in the ring. And Robert Helenius hopped his ass up in there and got comatose for way less money than $25 million, or even half of it, which is $12.5 million. So from that aspect, I would say you said everything right. But the conclusion was, look, bro, you are a warrior. That is your job. Go make that money, get that, and get out, if that's your decision. But it's not unreasonable for Errol Spence Jr. to do it, nor do I think you should continue to pour water on the fight that will get him and Terence Crawford a lot of money. But that's just my opinion. The Jaron Ennis aspect of it, though, might I also say that I will never get in a boxing ring, because I don't want to get beat up. And I know full well that that is a choice that I made. Could have fought as a youth, did fight in a different sport, but could have done it. However, thought to myself, could have played football. Look, man, every time I run up and down this field, there's a chance that my neck can get snapped and I'll be in a wheelchair the rest of my life. Football players do the same thing every time they step on the field. Now, on to Jaron Ennis. This is where I say his conclusion is ludicrous, because Jaron Ennis is the number one contender in the mandatory for Terence Crawford's belt. We have a problem in boxing, especially with ESPN, where their prospects are most definitely protected for a very long time in their career before they step up and fight somebody. But you know what can happen when you step up and fight somebody early in your career and you lose? You may go on to a Hall of Fame career like Bernard Hopkins did when he fought Roy Jones Jr. Or Roy Jones Jr. go on to a Hall of Fame career like he did when he fought Bernard Hopkins early in their career, and neither one of them had ever been in a ring with somebody like the other. Happens. Historically speaking, back in the early 1900s, there was a young man named Sam Langford who did not have the, privilege of being able to choose not to fight for a world championship when it's available. Do you remember that? Well, we were all dead, but you do remember there was a time when fighters really couldn't even get shots at championship belts, but yet Tim Bradley thinks it's smart for Jaron Ennis not to take his. And guess what Sam Langford did get a chance at doing, though? He got a chance to fight for the black heavyweight championship of the world. And he got in there early in his career with Jack Johnson. And Jack Johnson whooped him. What did he do after that? He went on to become one of the greatest heavyweights, if not the pound for pound #1 fighter in all of boxing history, Sam Langford out of Canada, who Jack Dempsey himself said, ain't no way I'm beating that dude. I'm paraphrasing. Ain't no way I'm beating that dude. But what did Sam Langford not get? He did not get a shot at that man. And do you know where Sam Langford wound up? Blind. Blind and broke. Happy, blind, and because he had a great attitude in life, blind and broke because he never got a shot at that championship. A fight that he also had never fought anybody like Jack Dempsey. But since Jack Dempsey wouldn't fight him, he never got a chance to get in there. So let's also talk about everybody else in boxing that can't beat Terence Crawford and have never fought anybody like Terence Crawford and doesn't have anywhere near the skill sets of a Terence Crawford. They get the fight. Thomas Delorme got the fight. Julius Ndungo got the fight. Why do you care more about Jaron Ennis and Jaron Ennis getting knocked out than you cared about Julius Ndungo getting knocked out? Or Victor Postal getting in the ring with him? Is it that you care so much about Jaron Ennis that you don't want him to have an opportunity to win a world champion and maybe get in a situation where maybe he could get knocked out by Terence Crawford for $25 million like Jaron Ennis did? Like Errol Spence Jr. did? Tim Bradley's actually asking people not to make fights. You guys are in the beat you up business. That's what you're supposed to do. Jaron Ennis is 30-0. He's an IBF interim champion. He's the #1 rated. He's the top guy in the IBF. And if he was still rated, he'd be the top guy in all of those divisions for all of the belts Terence has. He's earned that fight. He's earned the fight for those belts. And to say, nah, just go away. Nah, we know you're going to knock out. Go fight. Go risk your life against Keith Thurman. I wish you could fight Porter or somebody. Just go away, boy. Go fight one of them dudes. It'll get you ready. No, bro. No. Opportunity shines when opportunity shines. You got to take your chance when you've got your chance. And that kid has been fighting since he was 4 years old, and he's 25 years old now. This man is ready for that fight because he deserves that fight. And if he loses that fight, he gets up and he gets back in the ring and he fights somebody else. And he builds back up and he gets himself to a championship like boxers have done for generations after generations. Tim Bradley didn't want to fight Floyd Mayweather Jr. Tim Bradley didn't want to fight Errol Spence Jr. when he could have. And that's why people like Gervonta Davis say what they say about Tim Bradley's career, that he doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame. Right? Let them men take their chances if they want to take them chances. Anyway, that's me on it. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.